gamers. Today we're gonna do the season 4 tier list, the March edition, of course. I try to do these every month to kind of keep you guys updated on the meta, the maps, and everything else. And I mean, it's early in March, so I figured why not. For the people watching on YouTube, I know my webcam is really bright. It's nature's fault, aka the sun's fault, and it is what it is. So this is the map pool right now that we have, and the map pool is weird. Now, I am gonna try to base this Civ tier list. Like, I always gotta base it off something, right? So Oasis is a clown map. Probably just Oasis I'm gonna exclude. So I'm gonna count Boulder Bay as a hybrid map, Ancient Spires as a hybrid map, and Waterholes as a hybrid map. Wetlands, I mean, it's kind of normal map, I guess. Altai is like a camp map, and then we have Dry Arabia, Prairie, Lipany, and I would say Wetlands. They're just kind of like open maps. So I'm going by that, and I'm not discussing Oasis at all because it's just, it's Oasis, all right? Obviously, tournaments and ladder have two completely different map pools, so my tier list might be different from what we're picking in tournaments. So I'm going to try to make a tier list for you guys for the ladder, okay? So I'm not going to take in consideration like what's played in the tournaments too much. So, to start things off, one of the strongest civs right now, perhaps even the strongest to be honest, with no like tournament rules involved, just a ladder gameplay. It might generally be the strongest civ right now. It is Delhi. Delhi is extremely strong. People have found ways to play Delhi on hybrid maps as well. Obviously it's good because their fishing ships can shoot, so you can't really attack Delhi docks early on. They get their free upgrades, which is obviously good on every map. On open map, they're extremely strong. I wasn't sure when I did like the predictions for which civs are going to be good in the new seasons. I wasn't sure how Delhi will do because the reduced healing in Feudal Age. So for those that don't know, Scholars now heal 50% reduced if you're in combat. If you're out of combat, they heal normal. So I wasn't sure how that's going to turn out. Well, it turns out that Delhi still can fight in Feudal just fine, and that didn't change actually too much. Their Scholars got a bit cheaper, which is nice. But what did change is their Castle and in their Imperial is a lot stronger and a lot better, especially Castle because of Compounded Defender. Delhi always used to struggle with, like, they do pressure, they go Castle, they take relics, and they kind of have to all in to win. You know, like, they just have to go for it because they're behind on villagers, even though they got relics and yada yada. So now, because of the compound, your keeps are basically counting as TCs. So not only you get the relics, not only you get the sacred sites, but you also can recover in a villager lead. The elephants got buffed, so probably the best civ in my opinion. And by the way, these civ tier lists have nothing to do with difficulty of the civ. Like, I know a lot of people consider Delhi to be very difficult to play. I'm not gonna put Delhi lower because it's, you know, more difficult to play, if that makes sense. The next civ for the ladder that we will be talking about is English. I think no real surprise there. I think English is just a solid civ. It's also one of the funny thing is English is one of the easiest civs at the lower level, but I would say it's one of the harder civs at the higher level. For the reasons that I'm not going to get into because it's kind of long to explain, but you know, if you're looking to ladder or to start to maybe one-trick pony kind of thing, I think Delhi and English are both great. Obviously, they have their matchups that are not that good for them, but English is playable on hybrid maps, it's playable on camp maps, it's playable on open maps, so... And there's multiple ways to play English, right? Council Hall did receive a buff, they received some buffs, they received some nerfs. Overall, English is pretty good. The next civ we're going to be talking about is Ottoman. Ottoman is a very strong civ. Very strong civ, and it actually counters English. I'm not gonna say it counters Delhi, but it does. I think it's favored against Delhi. So the strength of Ottoman is, well, it kind of beats out the other two strong civs, And, you know, for that reason, you might even put it as the best civ, because if English is the most common civ you face, and Delhi is also really good, and you play Ottoman and you're favored against both of those, then that's pretty good. I mean, also, Ottoman on hybrid maps is very, very good, because you can open barracks with military school, and if you keep fighting against the opponent, eventually you will get Mehter, so you will be able to get +2 armor against the opponent's spearmen, and then you just auto-win, kind of thing. All right, the next civ. I'm trying to see, like, I'm trying to place the top civ. So if I like take French, I'm like, okay, no, it doesn't go there, you know. But for now, these civs right there seem pretty okay. For this specific map pool, I'm gonna have to put the Rus pretty low. I'm gonna have to put the Rus in C tier. I think Rus is, honestly, Rus is very map dependent. Probably the most map dependent civ, and these maps are not that good for Rus in general. I think the Kremlin militia is actually really strong. And in general, Rus aggressive playstyle is really strong. Obviously, Rus is great on Boulder Bay, but it's like absolutely atrocious on Prairie. Like not that good on wetlands. It's actually good on waterholes, by the way, because this is a map where opponents are usually aggressive in Dark Age, and there's no point to be aggressive against Rus in Dark Age, because if you kill the dock, they still have the ships, so you didn't do anything. So I'm gonna put Rus in C tier. I do think overall as a civ, a Rus probably is like B or A, like maybe here actually in between. But because of the latter maps, it's not that good. Like if we had maps like the Pit or Hideout, I would probably put Rus like on A or maybe B tier. But because, like I said, the maps are pretty bad for them. They have only 2 good maps, which are Boulder Bay and Waterholes, which most people veto hybrid maps, so it's like, yeah. So the reason why I put it here first, the next civ is French, and I was like, well, this doesn't make sense. So yeah, I think French is the worst civ. It's really bad on water maps, like really bad, or hybrid maps, sorry. And then on land maps, it's just not that good. Yeah, they got Chamber of Commerce like buff where it produces traders for free, but listen, if you want to trade, just play another civ, you know. Like Abbasid and Mongol do trading way better, even Malians. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of weird because I don't know why that is. Like, I think they just lack strong economic bonuses. I think that's where they drop off. And I think that cheaper upgrades just, that ain't it. You know what I mean? Because on paper, French is very strong, right? Their villagers create faster. You know, they got cheaper eco upgrades. And also they have other strong units, right? They have knights in H2. They have the strongest crossbows in the game. Like, Arbalète are insanely strong. They're insanely strong. So on paper, French is really good. But when you play it, it's just not it. Because so many of the other civs get so many, like, different eco bonuses or, like, army bonuses that just kind of... You're doing well with French until you're not, and then you just die. That's how it feels like. Yeah, by the way, I just want to... There's always these kinds of questions that's like... I see someone's like, oh, but French is in Gold League is strong. Okay, I am making a civ tier list based on the ladder map pool and what civs are actually good or bad. Now, if people don't know how to play them, that's not... I can't calculate that in. I don't know what's good in Gold League because I don't play in Gold League. So I'm just... If you want to learn a civ and you want to master a civ in the long run, you can take these pointers from someone who plays in, you know, Conquer and kind of adjust your viewing on that. I know that some civs, like English and French, are rated like the same level of good in Gold League. But, yeah. You know how you run one knight and you kill 10 villagers in gold? Yeah, that's not going to happen when you go higher level. So, yeah. Next civ. We'll put Mongol right here. I think Mongol, you know, it's not one of the best civs anymore, but it's not bad. Like, it's still Mongol, you know, it can trade, it can tower rush, obviously, so it's still decent. Hybrid maps, On Boulder Bay, they're not too great. On water holes, they're pretty decent. So it's not bad, but you know, it doesn't have bad matchups except one, which is actually Ottoman. Do you see a pattern here? So yeah, Ottoman I would say is probably like a soft counter to Mongol. But other than that, Mongol can have and does have decent matchups. So yeah, there it is. Next one we will be talking about is, I'm going to put Malians. I think Malians are B tier. Now, I am still a question mark on Malians. It might be A tier, but there's been a lot of development, so to say, with Malians recently. People have been doing pro scouts with Malians again, and their scouts are basically unkillable because they're faster than normal scouts when carrying carcass, because they're faster scouts in general. And also they regen, so it's like once opponent starts yoinking your deer, you can't really do shit about it. And then even if Malian is still in feudal and you're in like castle, they can just make Musafati warriors and still kill your armored units. So the biggest issue playing against Malians is actually not running out of food. And once you run out of food, you can just die straight up. Now, there are different ways to play Malians, obviously, but I would say the new Malian style that does exist with like pro scouts and stuff is very difficult to play. Like, you need to have a lot of APM to actually keep up and to like get the deer back and stuff like that. So I would say not many people in the ladder are gonna do that style. But I think even doing like the classic Farimba is, you know, the classic gas version of Farimba is still pretty okay for a ladder, and you'll do, you know, just fine with it. The next civ we will be talking about is Abbasid. I think Abbasid, funnily enough, I don't think Abbasid is that bad. Like, I'm even considering putting it in A tier, but I'll stick it with B tier. Abbasid has very low win rates I think in both ladder and tournaments. Like, I think it's the lowest win rate civ, which I generally don't know why that is. Maybe in the current meta, the Abbasid just takes a bit too long to kick in. Like, maybe it's not aggressive enough, because all these other civs, especially the top ones, are all aggressive civs, right? So maybe Abbasid doesn't have enough time to like kick off and get going, and by the time it gets going, you're either extremely far ahead or you're dead. But I generally don't think Abbasid is that bad like the stats are showing. But I might be high on copium with that one. I'm not sure. But also, we've seen like top players play Abbasid in the tournament. So, I don't know. Yeah, it might be... Yeah, that might have to do with it, what Karga is saying in the chat. Obviously, Abbasid got a big kind of overhaul on the wings. So, what can or might be happening is people might be trying out new wings. Right? People might be trying Culture Wing Fast Castle, they might be trying new Eco Wing 3TC, they might be trying Military Wing All In, they might be trying Trade Wing, and maybe that's affecting their win rates. I don't know. Because I've heard from some of the top pro players saying that Abbasid Trade is actually insanely good, even better than Mongol Trade. I played like Eco Wing Abbasid quite a bit, but you know, people have different experiences. Obviously, like I said, they got rework. So quite a bit has changed, but I still think Abbasid is B tier. The next civ we will be talking about is China. I'm gonna put China in A tier. I think for ladder, China is pretty solid pick. You know, you can play it on hybrid maps, you can play it on Boulder Bay, you can play it on Altai. Great map for China. And there's the Zhuginu or Chukinu build that, you know, is basically just massing that one unit and nothing else, that is very, very strong. So you can try that build in open maps. It's really, really strong. It's just one TC and you just go like 4 archer rangers and you just spam them. But yeah, China can be played many different ways. You can rush castle with them, you can go 2 TC. So overall, it's a solid civ, and I don't think it has any counters. So it's a solid civ. And then the last one, last but not least, we're going to be talking about is Holy Roman Empire. And I'm going to put it in A tier. I think A tier is pretty good / really good. whichever way you want to look at it. I think it has quite a few decent matchups. And overall, you know, the 2TC archery is pretty strong. Archery is good on water maps. And I don't think it has any hard counters. Like, when I look at it, I don't see any civ that's like, ooh, you want to avoid playing, you know, archery against that civ. So any civ that's like that is usually pretty good, but I would not say it's like S tier. And if I had to rank these civs in order, like best to worst, it would probably have to be Ottoman the best, actually, then Delhi, then English, Mongol, archery, China, Abbasid, Malian, Rus, and French. I think that's the order I would probably go in. Now, obviously, some people might disagree with this list, even if they're like also top players. I think that's one great thing about AOE4, that even the top pro players don't agree with each other which civs are the best, and I think that means the game is in a good state. Because if everyone said, man, Ottoman is unbeatable, it's broken, then that's a problem. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Things might change. Now, I will say, disclaimer, I have been playing like only custom games for the past 3 weeks. I have played some ladder, obviously, so but I've been playing custom games for the last 3 weeks, like practicing for the tournaments, because we have different rule sets and stuff. But I think this list should be pretty accurate, I think. So there it is. I'll make another one for April, and then we'll see what has changed. Anyway, thank you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch. I'm live right now. I found out today that actually works, and people are checking me out on Twitch from YouTube. So do that. If you're watching on Twitch, check me out on YouTube channel. I probably uploaded a video today. Anyway, Twitch gamers, let's keep going.